Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas!
Groaners, welcome along to episode 58 of the Groan Zone, the place for all things considered groany. Here we sit, as it is a mere 24 days as of the 1st of December, 24 days to Christmas, and the show will get more and more Christmassy the closer Christmas comes. We'll do our best, as not everything on the show can be Christmatified. I think I've just invented a new word right there. Have you been good groany boys and girls? Well, what's Santa Groaner got here for you? Up until Christmas week, each episode will have one more additional Christmas tune. Little unofficial game. See if you can, in your heads, Groaners, name the ones we've used per episode. So this week it's 1, next week 2, then 3, then 4. Now, we'll also, including today's episode, be bringing you Admin Nicole's Christmas facts for each episode. Speaking of facts, here's the first. Evergreens are an ancient tradition. The tradition of Christmas trees goes all the way back to the ancient Egyptians and Romans, who decorated with evergreens during the winter solstice to signify that spring would return. Evergreens reminded them of all the green plants that were to grow once the sun returned. Returned? It never went away, people. Never mind. More facts later. For now, let's get groany. My turn, then yours later, Groaners. Groan 1. When people ignore a sign that says cash only and get uppity when told no card payments. Hello? Read the sign instead of standing there with your head in your phone with your thumb up your backside. Groan 2. Christmas bus timetables. This is always a sore point for me, as they seem to put less buses on even though central Newcastle is heaving with shoppers. Earn that pay rise you'll be getting, bus drivers and bus companies. Sort it out. Groan 3. When you go up an escalator somewhere, there's no down one and no lift, yet they have stairs. Wouldn't it be better to have a safe option to go down? Anyway, that's sack number 1 emptied for this week. There'll be more from my groan bag next week. Now we have, for the first time of the festive season, Yes or BS. Just to let you know, Groaners, we'll be doing Yes or BS from now all the way through the new year. So don't worry, you haven't missed anything. Yes or BS all the way. Speaking of Yes or BS, here it comes. Round 1. The Christmas X Reindeers round. Option A. When people write Xmas, the X stands for Christ. Option B. Santa's reindeers, Donner and Blitzen, were originally called Danzert and Blinkenhorst. Option C. In Sweden, they celebrate Christmas with a giant straw goat. Go Groaners, give me the answers. Those playing after the fact, here's where you pause and give your answers and see if you get points later. Oh, we have B's coming in. Okay, any more? Any more advances on B's, Groaners? Along live, any more? People are thinking. And nope. Okay, round number 2. The Christmas Jesus Boy round. Option A. Sarsaparilla was once a regular Christmas treat for young boys. Option B. The first Christmas crackers were called bangers of the season. Option C. Victorian mince pies resembled coffins. Go Groaners, give me the answers. Ooh, we had an S come in there. Maybe that'll be an option for a future game, Groaner, but not right now. Oh, A's are flying in. Okay, any more? Oh, a couple of C's. And a B there. Okay. Next round. Round 3. The Dead Christmas Spiders round. The spiders is just when you hear of Christmas, isn't it? Option A. On some cards in Victorian times, they often had morbid pictures on, such as a dead robin. Option B. The most expensive Christmas card was sold for £20,000. And option C, spiders are considered Christmas decorations in some Hispanic regions. Ooh, A is coming in there. Any more? Oh, and a B. Any more? Oh, I don't think so. Nope, that's it there. And we shall find out later how the points lay out, Groaners. So listen along later, you'll find out if you got points or if you got blanked. If you got blanked, don't worry, better luck next week. For now, we have some more groans, but this time it comes from the audience. This one rolls in via email from Mel of Ireland, and she groans about the gaming pay-to-win culture. I fully agree with this. When a company such as Rockstar basically encourage you to spend real money to gain an edge, like buying 1 million shark cards just to get ahead of your friend and get a better car so you always win him against races. It's not fair. But nice one, Mel. Thanks for that. She sent hers in via the groanzonepod@gmail.com. But to send in your groans, your oh unlucky stories, and your Heroes of the Week nominations, as well as your feedback, you can also use one of the following. You can hit us up on Discord at the Groan Zone Podcast, via Facebook groups at the Groan Zone Podcast group, and lastly, send me a direct message on Facebook Messenger under Mr. E. Groaner. Ooh, I sense another fact coming. Fact number 2. Christmas decorating sends nearly 15,000 people to the emergency room. I mean, that's just like wow. 15,000 people. Apparently, it's about 14,700 they visit between each November and December for holiday-related decorating accidents. That's about, you'd say, 240 injuries a day. And the most common ones involve accidents, falling lacerations, and back strains. Yeah, you gotta be safe when doing those decorations, Groaners. Be safe out there. Oh, what do I hear? I hear a creepy. Yep, it's story time with Creepy Corner. This week's story from Admin Nicole is called The Doll's Reflection. The rag doll stared at its reflection in the mirror. It looked down at its soft, delicate hands and then over at the little girl asleep in her bed. It is then with a deep sigh that she recalls the events that led her to this very moment. Lila Boston was a lonely little girl. Her parents were often busy with meetings or events in the evenings, which always relied on her older sister Rosa to watch over her. They always paid Rosa and showed their thanks for being such a great older sister, but little did they know, not long after that they left, every time Rosa would give her usual speech to Lila about making sure the parents never find out and how there's food in the fridge. Lila was only 6 while Rosa was 14, but she knew how to look after herself. She knew to cover for her sister on rare occasion. She was home after her parents. Lila was always alone, just her and a big TV for company, until one night she wasn't. She heard a banging from the back door. She peeked through the kitchen and saw a tall, dark figure with a crowbar smash through, and she ran as quiet as she could to her room. As she ran to her bed without looking, she bashed her head into the bedpost and knocked out her tooth. She heard footsteps approaching. She was heard, but as she ran into bed and threw those teeth under her pillow, she prayed. She hoped anyone would save her, and she was heard. A girl not much older than Rosa appeared, but she had wings, and in her hands were 2 strange coins. One with a green crown, and one with a red. She explained how she was summoned by the teeth, a tooth fairy who was still learning her ways, who once was human herself. She used to go by the name of Valencia. She still does sometimes. She's figuring out who, or what she is these days. She sealed the door shut with her magic and leaned down to face Lila, pulling a rag doll out of her bag. She explained the dangers that Rosa was in and what she had actually been up to every night. Lila sighed, but she wasn't shocked. She had seen the so-called friends Rosa often hung out with after all. Valencia explained that she was given the doll by the old man who ran the antique store. The doll was for Lila, but also for Rosa. If Lila had ever had enough of her being left alone and wanted to save her sister, all she had to do was put the doll by Rosa's bed. Rosa would never leave her side again if she did that, but she would also never be herself again, in a way. Valencia left her with the doll and left after collecting the teeth. Her parents came back that night and were so grateful to Rosa for keeping Lila safe, not to mention defending her and suffering a black eye and some missing teeth in the process. They had never been more proud, even if they did lose some valuables when they were robbed. Lila spent every day sighing more and more as she continued to teach herself how to cook and cover for her precious older sister, always alone, always having to lie. The next week, the burglar came back looking for more things. The same happened. Her sister got bruised protecting her. Her parents loved Rosa more and more, and Lila was nothing more than someone that needed protecting. A few days later, a third burglary happened, and her sister and her parents were the same as ever. Lila finally had enough. The next night when her parents and Rosa left, she did as instructed and left the ragdoll near Rosa's bed. The next morning, Rosa never woke up. Doctor said she died peacefully in her sleep from an injury saving her sister. The ragdoll sighed as she looked at Lila. She knew somehow her new form was Lila's doing, but she wasn't mad. She straightened up the rose in her hair and stood to cover Lila up as she slept. Maybe this is for the best. I was a pretty awful sister to you, wasn't I? I'll never understand why you always covered for me, but it doesn't matter. I have an eternity now. I'll be the big sister you always deserve to have, and no harm will ever come to you again. I'm never leaving you alone anymore, Rosa whispered, as if she was making a promise, and Lila, fast asleep, just smiled as if she heard her. Admin Nicole, I don't know where you get these stories from, but I hope you never stop writing them. Goosebumps again. Well written. More to come next week. It's time for Oh Unlucky now, and it seems Marks and Spencer's has incurred the wrath of Spaniards and has even gotten the British ambassador involved. How? They've brought chorizo paella croquetas, but with none of the correct ingredients. To say uproar amongst the community was caused as minimal. Unlucky Marks and Spencer's, try sticking to the correct ingredients. Now then, let's have our second game with a 5-point countdown. Starting at 5, all the way down to 1. Here we go, Groaners. Clue number 5. I can be made of different material, but I'm often flat. That clue one more time. I can be made of different material, but I'm often flat. Let's see those answers, Groaners. Ooh, I think I've stumped people again. Oh, we've had paper come in. Okay. Any more? Any more? Balloons? Okay. Okay. See if I can work with those. Clue number 4. I don't always have a fancy design. Clue again. Clue number 4. I don't always have a fancy design. I think I've stumped those playing along live this week again. I seem to be good at doing this. Someone's put paper again. I'm waiting for rocks and... was it stone, paper, scissors? So I'm waiting for that to pop up now. I've mentioned that now. I'm going to regret this. Okay. Someone said that's next week. Okay. No more answers there. Clue number 3. I can be used by all ages. This is where the clues I give are very androgynous and monogamous here. Very plain, and people just start putting rocks or spoons or anything else. Right, I can see where this one's going. Clue number 2. I cannot go uphill on my own. Tyres? That's a good guess. That's a really good guess. Any more? No, we'll have to hurry, Groaners. No more there. Final clue. I am often gravity powered or pulled by something through the snow. Clue one more time. I am often gravity powered or pulled by something through the snow. I've stumped them. I've stumped them. You're running out of time, Groaners. Clock's ticking. The answer will come later on in the show. Oh, but I hear another fact coming. Fact number 3. Coca-Cola played a part in Santa's image. Before Coca-Cola decided to use his image for advertising, Santa looked more spooky than jolly. But then, in 1931, the beverage company hired an illustrator named Haddon Sundblom to give him more a jolly outlook for the magazine adverts. Now, kids everywhere see visions of sugar plums instead of having Santa-themed nightmares. Now, we move on to Zero and Hero of the Week. It's the same person. Her name is Mary Fran Donnelly. This is a person in America and is basically an advocate for becoming fat, and glorifies it by calling it sexy. This can be very dangerous to a person's health if they think that's what they want to take. Yet at the same time, she can also be hailed as a hero for talking about body positivity and stating the problems bigger people face, such as smaller hotel bathrooms or small towels, along those lines. Now, let's round off the show with a game answer, shall we, Groaners? The 5-point countdown answer was a sled or sledge or something similar. I would have accepted tray, anything you can use to go through snow or whatever. People are saying they're not flat. Right. Maybe I got that wrong, Groaners. Tell you what, it's a spirit of giving. Because I probably got that wrong by saying it was flat, I'll give everyone a free point. Therefore, the 5-point countdown game is irrelevant. Moving on to, quickly, the yes or BS answers. Round 1, the Christmas X Reindeers round. If you picked option A, when people write Xmas, the X stands for Christ, that's true, and it is Greek in origin. If you went for option B, Santa's reindeers Donner and Blitzen were originally called Danzert and Blinkenhorst, that was one of mine. False. However, they were not originally called Donner and Blitzen. Option C, if you went for this one, it's true. Sweden does celebrate Christmas with a giant straw goat. Round number 2, the Christmas Jesus Boy round. If you went for option A, sarsaparilla was once a regular Christmas treat for young boys, that's false. Although they actually gave beer as a seasonal present to young boys in Victorian times. If you went for option B, the first Christmas crackers were called bangers of the season, that's false. They were known as bangs of expectation and were invented in 1840. If you went for option C, that's actually true. Victorian mince pies resembled coffins as well as the manger that the baby Jesus slept in. Last round, the Dead Christmas Spiders round. If you went for option A, on some cards in Victorian times they often had morbid pictures on, such as a dead robin, true. These cards are now examined as works of art. If you went for option B, the most expensive Christmas card was sold for 20 grand, that's true as well, and is one of the few surviving hand-painted cards from 1843. And lastly, if you went for option C, spiders are considered Christmas decorations in some Hispanic regions, that's entirely false. The countries are actually the Ukraine and Poland. I hope points arrived, as well as the free one, the 5-point countdown, arrived for you all, my dear fellow groaners. We'll be back next week for more Christmassy groany fun. Take care and bye bye.